What if Canada challenged Trump by doing the opposite? Imagine if Canada, fed up with the demands of the Trump administration, decided to take a bold stance by doing the opposite of everything he requested. What if Canada fully opened its borders to everyone, relaxed its border control policies, and ignored Trump's concerns about illegal immigration? What if it stopped monitoring for contraband, began extensive trade with other South American countries, and halted oil exports to the US entirely? The results could be dramatic, not just for Canada, but for the United States as well. Opening the borders to everyone Canada, known for its welcoming policies, could turn this characteristic up to 11. Imagine removing all immigration restrictions, an open door for people from all corners of the globe. While this would foster international goodwill and enrich Canadian society, it could also strain public services, particularly healthcare and housing. However, the biggest impact would be on the US, as many individuals seeking refuge or new opportunities would likely choose Canada over the increasingly restrictive policies south of the border. The shift could lead to a brain drain from the US, with highly skilled workers seeking refuge in a more liberal immigration system. Lax monitoring for contraband. In response to Trump's focus on illegal trade and contraband, Canada could loosen its vigilance on border checks and trade enforcement. This could result in a rise in contraband entering both countries, with more goods crossing the border unchecked. Canada might face increased pressure to deal with the unintended consequences of illicit trade, but the US would also feel the blow as illegal drugs, firearms, and other contraband could flow more freely across its northern border, worsening domestic issues. Cutting oil exports and energy supply. The most dramatic move would be Canada halting its oil exports to the US, which could devastate the US energy market. The US is heavily reliant on Canadian oil, and a sudden cutoff could lead to gas price spikes and energy shortages, especially in northern states. In the long term, the US might be forced to increase domestic oil production or seek new trade agreements with other oil-rich nations, potentially weakening its energy security. The effect on America. These actions would likely cripple the US economy in several areas. The loss of Canadian oil would cause immediate disruptions, escalating fuel prices and potentially causing inflation. The loosening of trade restrictions could also result in a rise in illegal activity, further complicating America's efforts to combat crime. The migration shift to Canada could see a decrease in the US workforce, especially in industries like tech and healthcare, potentially exacerbating labor shortages. While Canada's actions might provide short-term political leverage, they would lead to significant long-term consequences for both countries, demonstrating the interconnected nature of modern international relations.